I heard my own breathing stop before I did. It was just past 11 when I decided to cut through Ashford Park instead of taking the long way home along Cleary Avenue. The fog had rolled in thick that night, the kind that sits low and refuses to move, clinging to the grass like something alive. I'd done this route before, dozens of times, always telling myself it was fine, always ignoring that small voice in the back of my head that said maybe tonight wasn't the night. But I was tired. My legs ached from the 10-mile run I'd already logged, and all I wanted was to get home, shower, and collapse into bed. The park was empty. It always was this late. The street lamps barely penetrated the fog, casting weak halos of light that did nothing but make the darkness around them seem deeper. I kept my pace steady, controlled, the rhythm of my feet hitting the asphalt the only sound in the world. That's when I heard it, another set of footsteps behind me, matching mine exactly. I didn't think much of it at first. Another runner probably, someone else foolish enough to be out here this late, but something felt wrong. The timing was too perfect. Every time my right foot struck the ground, I heard an echo. Every time my left foot came down, there it was again. Identical. I slowed down just a fraction, testing. The footsteps behind me slowed too, perfectly synchronized. My heart rate picked up, but I told myself I was being paranoid. I'd seen too many horror movies, read too many creepypastas online. This was real life. Nothing bad happens in real life just because you're jogging alone at night, except sometimes it does. I stopped completely, just froze mid-stride and stood there, breathing hard, listening. The footsteps stopped too, not a second later, not half a beat off. Exactly when I stopped, silence pressed in around me, thick and suffocating. The fog swirled in lazy patterns under the nearest street lamp, and I realized I couldn't see more than 15 feet in any direction. My pulse hammered in my ears. I turned my head slowly, trying to catch a glimpse of whoever was behind me without fully turning around. Nothing, just fog and shadows. I told myself to keep moving, to get out of the park and back onto a main road where there'd be cars, people, witnesses. I started jogging again, faster this time. The footsteps resumed immediately, same pace, same rhythm. I sped up, so did they. I pushed harder, my lungs burning as I tried to put distance between me and whoever was back there. The footsteps stayed right behind me, never falling back, never getting closer, always there, like a shadow I couldn't shake. Panic clawed at my chest. I veered off the main path, cutting across the damp grass toward the far exit near the old maintenance shed. My shoes squelched in the wet earth, and I heard the same sound behind me, perfectly timed. I risked a glance over my shoulder. Still nothing, just fog, but the footsteps didn't stop. I burst back onto the pavement and ran flat out, no longer caring about pacing or form or anything except getting the hell out of that park. My calves screamed. My lungs felt like they were filled with broken glass, but I didn't stop. The footsteps matched me stride for stride. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know. I had to see who or what was following me. I skidded to a halt and spun around, fists clenched, ready to fight or scream or do something. Anything to break this nightmare. And I saw myself. It stood about 10 feet away, partially obscured by the fog. It looked like me. Same height, same build, same running gear, but something was horribly impossibly wrong. It had no skin. Its body was a mess of exposed muscle and sinew, slick and dark red in the dim light. Its jaw hung open too wide, unhinged like a snake's, revealing rows of teeth that seemed too large for the mouth. Its legs bent at angles that made my stomach lurch, knees bowing backward, ankles twisted in ways that should have made standing impossible. But it stood, and it stared at me with eyes that were just hollows, empty sockets that somehow still seemed to see. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't do anything but stare at this thing that wore my shape like a costume made of meat. It tilted its head, mimicking a gesture I'd done 1,000 times, and then it smiled, or tried to. The muscles of its face contracted, pulling that unhinged jaw into something approximating a grin. Then it started moving toward me, not running, walking, slow, deliberate, each step accompanied by a wet sound, like raw meat slapping against pavement. I stumbled backward, nearly tripping over my own feet, and then I ran. I ran harder than I'd ever run in my life. My heart felt like it was going to explode. My vision tunneled. I could hear it behind me now, not just the footsteps, but the breathing, ragged and wet, like lungs filled with fluid. I didn't look back. I couldn't. I just ran, praying I'd reach the park exit, praying I'd see another person, praying this was all some kind of hallucination brought on by exhaustion or dehydration or anything other than reality. But the footsteps stayed with me. And then I realized something that made my blood turn to ice. It wasn't trying to catch me. It was pacing me, keeping exactly the same distance, like it wanted me to run, like it was waiting for something. My body started to fail. My right hamstring cramped suddenly, viciously, and I nearly went down. I pushed through it, limping now, my pace dropping. The footsteps behind me slowed to match. My lungs burned so badly I thought they might actually be bleeding. Each breath felt like inhaling razors. My legs were rubber. My vision blurred at the edges. I could see the park exit ahead, maybe 100 yards. Streetlights, the glow of a 24-hour gas station across the road. Safety. Witnesses. Help. I pushed harder, ignoring the pain, ignoring everything except that exit. 50 yards. My left knee buckled. I felt something tear inside, a sharp, blinding pain that shot up my thigh. I screamed but didn't stop. 30 yards. My right shoe felt wet inside. I looked down for just a second and saw blood seeping through the mesh, realized my toenails had been ripped off by the repeated impact shredded inside my shoe. 20 yards. My vision went gray. My lungs wouldn't pull in air anymore. My legs gave out completely. I hit the pavement hard, the impact knocking what little breath I had left out of my body. I tried to crawl. My fingers scraped against the rough asphalt, nails breaking, skin tearing, but I couldn't move. My body was done, finished. I rolled onto my back, gasping, choking, staring up at the fog-choked sky, and then it was there, standing over me. Looking down with those empty eye sockets, it knelt slowly, joints bending wrong, and brought its face close to mine. I could smell it now, route and copper and something else, something chemical and wrong. Its breath, if you could call it that, washed over my face, hot and wet, and then it spoke. Its voice was my voice, exactly my voice, but hollow, empty, like a recording played through a broken speaker. I only need what's left, it whispered. I tried to scream, tried to fight, but my body wouldn't respond. I could only watch as it reached up with hands that looked like mine but couldn't be, and pressed its fingers against my forehead. The pain was immediate and absolute. Felt like my face was being dipped in boiling oil. I felt the skin separate, felt it peel away in one continuous sheet, and the sound it made, that wet tearing sound, is something I'll never forget. I could see it holding my face, my actual face, in its hands, examining it like a mask. Blood ran into my eyes. I couldn't see clearly anymore. Everything was red and dark and fading. Through the haze, I saw it stand up, saw it drape my face over its own, pressing it into place. Saw it standing there without me. The thing that looked like me now looked down at what was left to me. What had it left? It smiled with my face, and the expression was perfect. practiced, like it had done this many times before. My vision darkened. I couldn't feel my body anymore, couldn't feel anything except a vague, distant coldness spreading through me. The last thing I saw before everything went black was my body, wearing my face, turning and walking away, jogging away, starting a run, and I heard the footsteps, steady, rhythmic, fading into the fog, and then I heard nothing at all. I don't know how long I was gone. Time stopped meaning anything. There was only darkness and cold and a terrible, crushing sense of wrongness. But then I woke up, or something like waking up. I was lying on cold metal, bright lights overhead, voices muffled and distant. I tried to move and realized I couldn't. My body wouldn't respond. Panic surged through me, but it felt distant, like it was happening to someone else. A face appeared above me, a woman in scrubs, her expression carefully neutral. "He's awake," she called out. Other faces appeared, a doctor, a police officer. They were talking, but I couldn't understand the words at first. Everything sounded underwater. Gradually, their voices became clearer. "Can you hear me?" the doctor asked, leaning close. "Can you tell me your name?" I tried to speak. My throat felt raw, damaged. When I finally managed to make a sound, it came out as a wet, rasping croak. "What happened?" The doctor and the police officer exchanged a look, the kind of look that meant they knew something I didn't, something bad. "You were found in Ashford Park," the officer said slowly. "A jogger called it in around 6 this morning. You'd been severely injured. That was one word for it. "We need to ask you some questions," the officer continued. "Do you remember anything about last night? Anything about who did this to you?" I wanted to tell them, wanted to explain about the fog and the footsteps and the thing that looked like me, but how could I make them understand? How could I make anyone understand? I was running, I managed to say. Someone was following me. It looked like me. The officer wrote something in his notebook, his expression unchanging. The doctor checked one of the monitors near my bed. "You've suffered severe trauma," the doctor said. "Multiple lacerations, significant blood loss. You're very lucky to be alive." Lucky. I didn't feel lucky. I felt hollow, empty, like something vital had been scooped out of me and replaced with nothing. "There's something else," the doctor said, and his tone made my remaining fear spike. "Something we need to discuss." He moved to the side, and I saw a mirror on the wall. Saw my reflection, except it wasn't my reflection. The face looking back at me was wrong. The features were mine, technically, but they were off, asymmetrical. The left side of my face didn't quite match the right. My jaw sat crooked. One eye was slightly higher than the other. It was like someone had tried to reconstruct my face from memory and gotten most of the details right, but not all of them. What? I couldn't finish the sentence. The doctor cleared his throat. The damage was extensive. We did our best with reconstructive surgery, but given the nature of the injuries, he trailed off, clearly uncomfortable. I stared at the stranger in the mirror. The person who had my features but wasn't me. Couldn't be me. The thing in the park hadn't just taken my face. It had taken something deeper, something essential. It had taken me and left behind this broken copy. "We'll need you to come down to the station once you're discharged," the officer said, "to give a full statement. We've got officers searching the park, reviewing security footage from nearby businesses. We'll find whoever did this." But I knew they wouldn't, because what did this wasn't human, wasn't something that could be caught or stopped or even understood. It was still out there, wearing my face, living my life, and nobody would ever know the difference. Over the following weeks, I learned to navigate the world as this new broken version of myself. The doctors were pleased with my recovery. The police investigation went nowhere, eventually filed away as an unsolved assault. My family visited, tried to be supportive, but I could see the discomfort in their eyes when they looked at me, the subtle wrongness they couldn't quite name. I stopped jogging, stopped going to the park, stopped going outside after dark at all. But sometimes, late at night, I'd hear footsteps outside my window, steady, rhythmic, matching a pace I used to keep, and I'd look out and see a figure in the fog, too far away to make out clearly, standing still and watching, waiting. One night, about 3 months after the incident, I decided I couldn't live like this anymore. I needed answers, needed to understand what had happened to me. I went online, started digging through forums and chat rooms dedicated to unexplained phenomena, urban legends, cryptids, the kinds of things I'd always dismissed as fiction. And I found stories, so many stories. A hiker in Montana who'd been followed through the woods by something that looked like his brother. A woman in New Jersey who'd seen her double standing in her backyard at 3 in the morning. A man in Oregon who'd been attacked in his own home by something wearing his wife's face, except his wife had been dead for 2 years. The details varied, but the core was always the same, something that could copy people, something that needed what was left. And the more I read something that made my rebuilt skin crawl. Every single person who'd survived an encounter reported the same thing I had. They weren't the same afterward. Something had been taken from them, something they could never get back. We were all hollow, all copies, all replacements, and the things that had taken our places were out there, living our lives better than we ever had. I started keeping track, creating a database, documenting every case I could find, every story that matched the pattern. There were hundreds, maybe thousands, and they were increasing. Whatever these things were, they were spreading, getting bolder. I tried to warn people, posted on social media, called the police, reached out to news organizations. Nobody believed me. Of course they didn't. I was just another crazy person with an internet connection and too much time on my hands. But I kept trying because I had to. Because if I didn't, who would? Then, 6 months after the incident, I got a message. A private DM on one of the forums I frequented. Just 3 words. I believe you. I clicked on the sender's profile. No photo. No information. Just a username. Hollow999. I messaged back immediately. Who are you? The response came within minutes. Someone like you. Someone who survived. Someone who knows what they took from us. We talked for hours that night. Hollow 919 had been attacked 2 years earlier in a subway tunnel in Philadelphia. Same story, same result, same hollowness afterward. But unlike me, they'd been tracking these things for years, had developed theories, patterns, potential ways to fight back. They're not random, Hollow 119 explained. They choose people carefully, people who are isolated, vulnerable, people whose disappearance or change wouldn't be noticed right away. But why? I typed. What do they want? I don't know exactly, but I think they're replacing us, one by one, taking our places, building something, an army maybe, or a colony. Whatever they are, they're organized, intelligent, and they're winning. The thought made my blood run cold. What can we do? We fight back. We expose them. We find others like us and we organize. We're the only ones who can see them for what they are. We're the only ones who know the truth. I wanted to believe it was possible, wanted to think we could actually make a difference. But part of me, the hollow part, knew better. We were already lost, already replaced. The best we could do was maybe slow them down, maybe save a few people from the same fate. Maybe that would be enough. Over the next few months, Hollow 19 and I built a network, found others, people who'd survived encounters, who carried the same hollowness, the same wrongness in their faces and their souls. We shared information, documented sightings, tried to predict where they'd strike next, and just sometimes we managed to intervene. A warning sent to someone about to take a late-night shortcut, a call to police about suspicious activity in a usually empty park. Small victories, meaningless in the grand scheme, but they were all we had. Then one night, almost a year after my attack, I got another message from Hollow 2019. I found it, the source, where they come from. My heart raced as I typed back, where? Old industrial complex outside Pittsburgh, abandoned for decades, but there's activity there, lots of it. I've been watching for weeks. They go in and out constantly. I think it's some kind of nest, or breeding ground, or whatever the hell they call it. What are you going to do? There was a long pause before the response came. I'm going in. Tonight, someone needs to see what's really happening. Someone needs to document it. If I don't make it out, I'm sending all my files to you. Everything I've learned, everything I've documented, you'll need to carry on. I tried to talk Hollow 1919 out of it. Tried to convince them to wait, to plan better, to bring backup, but they were determined. And I understood, because I felt it too, that need to know, to understand what had been done to us. That night, I stayed up until dawn, staring at my computer screen, waiting for an update that never came. Hollow went silent. Their last message came at 2047 a.m. I'm inside. It's worse than I thought. So much worse. They're not just replacing us, they're becoming us, perfecting us, and when they're done, the message ended there. No follow-up, no explanation. For 3 days, I heard nothing. Then the files arrived. Gigabytes of data. Photos, videos, documents, everything Hollow 2019 had compiled over 2 years of investigation. And one final video, timestamped 2051 a.m. from that last night. I almost didn't watch it. Part of me knew that whatever was on that video would change everything, would make the hollow feeling inside me even worse. But I had to know. The video was dark, shot on what looked like a phone camera with night vision. The footage was shaky, moving through narrow corridors lined with pipes and concrete. Hollow 299's breathing was harsh and the audio panicked. Then the camera turned a corner and the view opened up into a massive chamber. And I saw them. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. Bodies hanging from the ceiling like meat in a slaughterhouse. But they weren't dead. They were moving, shifting, changing. Each one suspended in some kind of translucent membrane. And inside, I could see faces forming, bodies reshaping. They were growing, copying, becoming. The camera panned across the chamber, and I saw people I recognized. Politicians, celebrities, local news anchors, people in positions of power and influence, all hanging there, all being replicated. Jesus Christ, Hollow 199 whispered in the video. They're not just replacing random people, they're replacing everyone that matters, everyone with power, with influence. They're taking over, not with an invasion, with infiltration, and we'll never even know what happened. The camera shook violently as Hollow 19 turned to run. I heard footsteps behind them, multiple sets. Fast. Oh, please no. The camera dropped, hit the ground at an angle. I could see Hollow 99's legs, could see them trying to crawl away, and then I saw others moving into frame. 3 of them. No. Wait, I recognized those faces. I recognized the clothes. It was Hollow 299. 3 versions of Hollow 299, standing over the original, looking down with expressions that were almost pitying. We're sorry, one of them said in Hollow 299's voice, but you were never meant to survive. None of you hollow ones were. You're mistakes, errors in the process, and we're very good at cleaning up our mistakes. The video went black. The audio continued for another 30 seconds. Sounds I won't describe, sounds I hear in my nightmares now. Then nothing. I sat in the dark of my apartment, staring at the blank screen, feeling the hollowness inside me expand until it felt like it might consume me entirely. They were right. We were mistakes. We were never supposed to know. We're never supposed to survive long enough to understand what was really happening. And now I was the only one left who knew the truth, the only hollow one still alive and still free. I thought about going to the authorities, thought about releasing the files publicly, thought about screaming the truth from every platform I could access, but who would believe me? And even if someone did, what could they do? The things were already everywhere, already in positions of power, already winning. I've been running ever since. Not physically, I learned that lesson, but constantly moving, changing locations, using burner phones, staying off the grid as much as possible. I keep Hollow 2019's files encrypted and hidden. I keep watching, keep documenting, keep trying to find others like me, even though I know they're probably all gone by now. Because I have to. Because someone needs to remember. Someone needs to know that we lost, that humanity, the real humanity, the messy and flawed and beautifully imperfect humanity, has already been replaced, one person at a time, one face at a time. And the worst part, I can't even tell the difference anymore. I look at people on the street and I don't know if they're real or if they're one of them. I look in the mirror at my reconstructed face with its subtle wrongness, and I don't know if I'm real anymore either. Maybe I died that night in the park. Maybe what's typing this now is just another copy, another mistake that hasn't been cleaned up yet. Maybe that's what the hollowness really is, the knowledge that we're already gone, already replaced, already nothing but ghosts haunting our own lives. I still hear the footsteps sometimes, always behind me, always matching my pace. I don't run anymore. There's no point. You can't outrun something that's already wearing your face, living your life, becoming you better than you ever could. All I can do is keep moving, keep watching, keep hoping that maybe someone out there will read this and understand, will see the truth before it's too late for them too. But I know they won't, because it's already too late. It was always too late. From the moment we heard those footsteps behind us in the dark, from the moment we stopped and turned around, from the moment we saw ourselves staring back, we were already gone. We just didn't know it yet. I'm writing this from a motel outside Harrisburg. I'll be gone by morning, moving to the next city, the next hiding place, the next temporary respite before they find me again, because they will find me. Eventually, they always do, and when they come for me this time, there won't be any surviving. No more mistakes, no more hollow ones left to tell the story. But maybe that's okay. Maybe it's time to stop running, to accept what happened, to let go of this empty shell that used to be me. Maybe the hollowness inside me isn't because something was taken. Maybe it's because there was never anything there to begin with. Maybe we're always just copies, just meat and bone and electrical impulses pretending to be something more, and they're just better at the pretending, more efficient, more perfect. Maybe they deserve this world more than we ever did. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything except that I'm tired, so tired, and the footsteps are getting closer. I can hear them outside right now, steady, rhythmic, patient. They know I can't run forever. They know I'm almost done, and maybe that's fine. Maybe it's time to stop being hollow, to stop being a mistake, to just stop. But I wanted someone to know, someone to read this and understand what really happened, not to me specifically, but to all of us, to everyone. We lost, We lost, and we didn't even know there was a war. And the things that won are so much better at being us than we ever were. So if you're reading this, look around. Look at the people in your life, your friends, your family, your coworkers. Look closely and ask yourself if you're really sure they're the same people they've always been. If there's not something slightly off, something wrong you can't quite name. And if there is, run. Run as fast and as far as you can. Not that it will matter, not that it will help, but at least you'll know. At least you'll die knowing the truth, that we were never alone, that we were never safe, that the monsters weren't hiding under our beds or in our closets. They were standing right behind us, matching our pace, waiting for us to stop, waiting to take everything we were and make it theirs. The footsteps are at my door now. I can see the shadow under the gap, can hear breathing that sounds exactly like mine. It's time. I only need what's left.